सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham karishyami siddhir bhavatu me sada. Samasta jana kalyane niratam karunamayam namami chinmayam devam satgurum brahma vidvaram mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim Yatkripatamaham vande Paramananda Madhavam Paramananda Madhavam. All right, let's read what we covered last time. Verses 37 to 42. Arjuna uvacha ayati shraddhayopetaha yoga chalita manasaha aprapya yoga samsiddhim kam gatim Krishna gacchati. Gachinno bhaya vibhrashtaha chinnabhramiva nashyati apratishto mahabaho vimudho brahmanah pathi. Etan me samshayam Krishna chetumarhasya sheshataha twadanya samshayasyasya chetana yupapadyate. Shri Bhagavan uvacha Parthaneveha namutra vinashastasya vidyate nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim tata gacchati prapya punyakritam lokan ushitva shashwati samaha shuchinam shrimatam gehe yoga bhrashto bhijayate athava yoginam eva kule bhavati dhimatam etadhi durlabhataram loke janma yadidrisham. Okay, so what happened here is that Arjuna asks three questions. So Arjuna asks three questions and he says, first of all, Shri Krishna, you explain this chapter so beautifully, and that whoever abides in the knowledge of the self, that person now is free. But I have a question. What if somebody does not reach that fulfillment? What if somebody is on the way to the path? Somebody not now here, as I mentioned, we're not talking about a karma yogi. Not a karma yogi, because a karma yogi will gain higher worlds in the next life. Not an upasaka, or somebody who does contemplative practices, because they will attain worlds like Brahmaloka. And not somebody who has realized the self, because they have no return. They have no coming and going. But Arjuna's question is ayatihi, the one who hasn't seen this realization to its fullness. So somebody who has come to be a full-time seeker, seriously engaged in shravanam, mananam, seriously engaged in contemplation of the self. In these areas, what happens to them? They are shraddhayopetaha, they are full of faith. But for some reason, yoga chalita manasaha, they have strayed away from yoga. And they have strayed away because of either of these two reasons. One is some distraction was there in their life. So they were going about their lives, pursuing the path of spirituality, but there was some distraction, some bhoga vasana or vasana for enjoyment caught hold of them, and they just kind of veered a little off the path. Or second option or second circumstance is somebody did not have such a bhoga vasana, but they were striving very, very sincerely, but their prarabdha got over. So their body had to shed. They left their body. So what is their gati? What is their destination? And it seems like Bhagavan Krishna, they are like this rent cloud, a cloud which is moving from this group of clouds to this group of clouds. And somehow it has left this group, it's made its way, but it has not reached this group. It has left this group in the sense that seeker is no longer quite engaged in karma yoga or upasana practices. That seeker is now moving towards jnana yoga, but then fails to really make it there. So it's as though this red cloud in the middle, it disappears, apratishta. It is unstable. It has no backing. What happens? They're not able to make it. What happens to them? And Arjuna says, Shri Krishna, I am asking you this doubt because you have the capacity to clear it. You are the all-knowing one. You are the cosmic mind. That mind which knows the totality of all of the jivas. So I am asking you, please remove this doubt from me. Because Arjuna had that doubt himself. Then Sri Krishna said something so beautiful. He said, O Partha, O the son of Pritha, of Kunti, that don't even worry because there is no nashaha. In verse 40, Naiveha namutra vinashastasya vidyate, means there's no destruction for this type of seeker, because this seeker is kalyana krit, who's pursuing such an auspicious path. They're reforming their lives, they're remodeling their lives. So for this kalyana krit, this auspicious seeker, durgatim na gacchati, they will never go into the wrong path or a bad state. Meaning there will never be a lower birth for this seeker. There's no even question about it. And even in this very life, that seeker, there's no vinasha, there's no destruction, because that seeker will constantly be blessed. Remember, Bhagavan Krishna says, Yoga kshemam vaham yaham. I will take care of your yoga. I will take care of your kshema. For those who have completely committed themselves to me, I will take care of everything they need and whatever it is they need secured. So there's no question of destruction here and even hereafter, because they will not go to any lower world. Where will they go? So, as per the two options, there's two divisions. For the one that had some kind of bhoga vasana, some vasana for enjoyment, the one that got a little bit distracted, or somehow they became negligent and they neglected their spiritual practices, they neglected it, they strayed away, they made excuses. They were there, they were going on the path, but for some reason they strayed. What happens? Prapya punya kritam lokan, in verse 41, they attain these higher worlds, these worlds of punya, of merit, these divine worlds for a long time. And in these higher worlds, they exhaust all of the vasanas that they need to exhaust. They had something that they wanted to try, they wanted to engage in, they exhaust those vasanas. Then, Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe, yogo brashto abhijayate. That yoga brashta, the one who has not seen yoga, the abidance in the self to its fulfillment, sometimes it's translated as fallen yogi, this yoga brashta is born in the house of purity and of the wealthy. Purity meaning where spiritual practices are done, where there is great opportunity for spiritual unfoldment. There is respect for spiritual knowledge. There's books of spirituality. There's saints and sages that come. There's an area that they do bhajans and prayers in. And there's also a good amount of wealth. So if ever something has to be done, then they pursue it. But in this birth, that samskara will come back to them. And we will see that that's what we will see today. Then those who did not have that bhoga vasana, that vasana for enjoyment, those who were totally free of it and striving so sincerely, but their body dropped, what could they do? In verse 42, Athava yoginam eva kule bhavati. They are born in the house of yogis. Yogis meaning actual sadhakas who are pursuing this path of self-realization seriously, serious sadhakas. And they may be also poor, because their focus is not on wealth at all. Their focus is mainly on spirituality. So somebody said something very nice. He said, don't think that all of those who are wealthy have good karma. Sometimes Bhagwan makes us poor, and that is good karma so that we seek him also. So there are times Bhagwan keeps us wealthy so that we are secure enough to seek him. And then there are times when Bhagwan takes away all the wealth so that we only have to think about him and call his name and cry out to him. So he according to what the sadhaka needs, Bhagwan gives. So this person is born in the house of yogis and dhimatam. Yogi could be any, meditators, any kind of meditators. But here, dhimatam means those people who have knowledge. Those people who have knowledge. And he says, etadhi durlabhataram. This kind of birth is very rare, very rare. Loke janmayadi drisham. And last time I gave you some examples of Shuka. Shukadev, Vedavyasaji's son, Ashtavakra. And also we see in the life of Jnaneshwar, Muktabai, Nivrittinath, Sopandev, where their father, Vittal Pant, he was married, but he left and he took sannyas. He left and he took sannyas. He didn't have children at that time. He left, he took sannyas, and the Swami he took sannyas from later found out that he was actually married. And he sent Vittal Pant back to have children. And the 4 children that he had were all jnanis, were all these illumined sages. This birth is durlabhatara, it's very rare because those people who are in that field of yogic practices, they don't often feel the need to have a family. So when they do have a family, it is very rare. It is very rare. And when they do have children, that is very rare also. So this is durlabhatara. Now the question is, what happens exactly? How is it that, let us say, they are born in these homes? What happens to them? How is it that they ascend on the spiritual path? So that's what we're going to see today. Verse number 43. Tatra tam buddhi samyogam.
Tatra tam buddhi samyogam.
Labhate paurvadehikam.
Labhate paurvadehikam.
Yatate chatato bhuyaha.
यतते च ततो भूयः
Samsiddhau Kuru Nandana.
संसिद्धौ कुरु नन्दन
Tatra tam buddhi samyogam labhate paurvadehikam yatate chatato bhuyah samsiddhau kuru nandana. So tatra. Tatra means in that birth. In that birth which this seeker comes, tam buddhi yogam labhate. There, this seeker gains that buddhi samyoga, means that union with knowledge. Buddhi samyogam labhante paurvadehikam, which is acquired from that seeker's former body. And then tataha, and then after that, yatate bhuyaha, that seeker strives even more than before. And samsiddhau, they strive for what? For that perfection, for moksha. O Kuru Nandana, O Arjuna, you are the joy of the Kurus. So there he comes to be united with the knowledge acquired in his former body and strives more than ever before for perfection. So what happens is, this is a result not of one life, of many, many, many lives. So from those previous births, that association with knowledge, that samskara of knowledge again wakes up. And that seeker becomes united with that. See, when the jiva takes the next birth, they don't have all these memories. Like just like today, we might not remember what we ate for breakfast. Or last week, we might not remember what we ate. People ask, how come we don't remember our past lives? We don't also remember this life. Okay, we have bad memory. So even if we had that memory of our past life, we wouldn't remember. This life also, we don't remember so many things. If you ask us about our lives, I'm sure we would not even be able to write 1.5 hours worth about it, because memory just fades. So this memory is not that which gets carried over. What gets carried over is this jnana samskara. So that buddhi samyogam is that jnana samskara, means that deep impression of knowledge. Whatever deep impressions were there, that is something that really gets carried over. And that is why when children are born, they are born in certain ways. They have certain likings. I'd mentioned this to you before, that in our culture, how are they to tell what the child should do? Okay, how to train the child? They will take the baby and they will put all instruments in the ground. They'll put a book, they'll put a sword, they'll put a pen, all kinds of things. They'll put let's say, a spatula or like a pot. All kinds of things they will put in front of the child. They'll put together a compass. And then the child will crawl, crawl, crawl. And whatever the child picks up, then the parents know, that's what the child wants to be engaged in. Why? Paurvadehikam. So that is why children, when they are young, we can kind of see what it is they like. Einstein, when he was very young, his favorite toy was a compass. He just got drawn to a compass. And he just was always so inquisitive, always questioning. We would never ask. The sky, people will say the sky is blue, the sun is yellow. Well, he will ask, why is the sky blue? Why is it infinite? How come I can't touch it? He would ask all of these things. So, paurvadehikam, those previous impressions get carried over. And when they get carried over, this jnana samskara is so strong that they strive for it bhuyaha, even more than before. Just like, when we go to sleep and we wake up fresh, correct? So let us say we were reading something before we slept or doing some work before we slept. Our eyes are already drooping and we don't even know what we're reading, what's going on. We can't figure it out. But when we wake up fresh, we get it right away. We're able to do it and nail it and get it done. So like this, when the seeker wakes up fresh in a new body, the seeker wakes up, it's ready to put forth more effort for moksha. And Sri Krishna calls Arjuna Kuru Nandana, means you are the joy, you are the son of the Kurus. You are the son of the Kurus. So don't doubt, Arjuna, that you are also yoga brashta. You have been born in such a pious family of Kunti and Pandu, and pious because Sri Krishna and Arjuna were cousins. They're cousins. So you were born in such a pious family. So don't doubt that you are a yoga brashta. But now Arjuna says, can you please tell me a little bit more about this Buddhi Sam Yoga? Like, how does one get united exactly with that samskara of knowledge, with that deep impression of knowledge? How does one do it? So Sri Krishna explains, Purvabhyasena tenaiva
पूर्वाभ्यासेन तेनैव
ह्रियते ह्यवशोऽपि सः
ह्रियते ह्यवशोऽपि सः
जिज्ञासुरपि योगस्य
जिज्ञासुरपि योगस्य
शब्दब्रह्माति वर्तते
शब्दब्रह्माति वर्तते
पूर्वाभ्यासेन तेनैव ह्रियते ह्यवशोऽपि सः जिज्ञासुरपि योगस्य शब्दब्रह्माति वर्तते Purva abhyasena tena eva means by that former practice. Abhyasa, something has been repeated again and again and again and again. Riyate hyavashaha, that seeker gets pulled helplessly. Api saha, saha means that yoga brashta, that seeker. Jignasuhu api yogasya. Jignasuhu, the seeker wishes to know this yoga. Shabda Brahma ati vartate, and goes beyond Shabda Brahman. So by that former practice, they are borne on in spite of themselves. Even he who merely wishes to know yoga goes beyond the Shabda Brahman. So what does this mean? This means that helplessly, because of the previous practices of many, many lives, they are pulled on this path. Even if they don't want to go on this path, they are pulled. Let us say they are born in a wealthy family and they're there, everything's being provided for them. Something inside is telling them, no, I can't live this life. No, this is not for me. They're born in that environment. They're surrounded by that environment. Something is just drawing them outside. It's just helplessly pulling them. And because of its pull, they go straight towards that path of seeking. There are many, many examples. Like we take Buddha. Buddha was a prince, right? So he was in the midst of all wealth and everything. He was married. He was, going on the roads, and then he saw a sick person, he saw a dead person, he saw all kinds of people, and he said, will this also happen to me? And, because the king didn't want Buddha to see sadness, but when he saw a sick person, a dead person like that, he said, will this happen to me? And they said, yes, that will also happen to you eventually. And just that was enough. He said, no, I don't want this. And he left. Now that kind of thought doesn't just come in one go. It just doesn't come like that. It has been building up. And that's why he left. And if we look at Bhagavad Ramana Maharshi Ji, he was regularly living, and then somebody mentioned to him Arunachala. Now, he has never been to Arunachala. He doesn't know what Arunachala is. But something inside him said, that's it, I'm going to Arunachala. And he just left. He just left. So this is something that gets built up. I want to read to you here something on Swami Tapovan Maharaj's life, okay? So that we understand this Purva Abhyasa. Now, Swami Tapovan Maharaj had a very nice, beautiful life, and he was, his parents were very wealthy. They always wanted to dress him up, educate him well, but he was not interested in all of these things. They wanted to have him socialize with people, but he liked to sit down and meditate. That's what he liked to do. So now, here is the father. Okay, this is actually Swami Tapovan Maharaj writing. He said, the son, the dominant self, is the chief. The father is the subordinate. And therefore, it is held by certain philosophers that it is not the son who lives for the father, but the father who lives for the son. In a worldly sense, this is more or less correct, because the father considers his son's perfections and imperfections as his own. So father, mother, father, mother. Ordinarily, fathers labor under an illusion that their son's prosperity, their educational distinction, wealth, fame, and so on are their own. They regard their son's life as well as death as theirs. Alas, this error is universal. In view of this attitude, who will be surprised if Subramanya was Swami Tapovan Maharaj's childhood name, who will be surprised if Subramanya's father built castles in the air for him? My son should obtain a higher education in English and secure high degrees from Indian as well as foreign universities. He must become a big government officer, acquire a big fortune, and become famous. His father's mind was filled with such ambitious hopes and plans for the future of his son. So this is what's happening in the father's mind. But man proposes and God disposes. Subramanya spent a few years in the study of English at home and elsewhere, and then lost all zest for it, even as a man of discrimination gets tired of worldly pleasures. This sort of education in English is as dry as a skeleton. What am I going to gain thereby? I seek no job. I want no wealth. What is money for? All I want is a morsel of food once a day to keep this body and soul together. It being so, what can this education give me except pain? Should I push forward with such an education, or should I put an end to it? So such thoughts harass the mind of the devoted son. And then at last the struggle ceased, and in obedience to the dictates of his soul, he gave up studies at his school once and for all, and he returned home. He was like a thoughtless bridegroom who stole away from the wedding hall, giving up a most desirable marriage and dashing all future prospects to the ground. His fathers and relatives were surprised and pained. Achyutan Nair fondly remonstrated with his son. His relatives angrily rebuked him. But Subramanya remained the same. He never returned to school. So what happened to him? His father, I'll just read this section. His father advised his son, resume your studies. You are wise. Why have you, like a fool, stopped your studies to idle away your time? What do you intend to do? What is your plan? Of course you have enough money, but without education, how will you get enlightened? How many students are eager for a higher education? In your case, there's no lack of resources. What is happening? And Subramanya said, the truth is, I don't like school life. That's why I gave it up. There is no other reason. It doesn't mean that I have put an end to my studies. In fact, I love the learned books written by English scientists and the noble poems composed by English poets. They are most dear to me. I continue to study them, with the help of various scholars, but I long to study Sanskrit also. In this birth, the course of my life is naturally determined by the tendencies inherited from my previous life. Nobody need entertain any materially high hopes about my future. Crushed. So this is Swami Tapovan Maharaj. Huh? So his father wanted him to do all of these things, get a higher education, earn money, get married, do all of these things. But helplessly, he is just pushed in another direction. And he cannot explain it. So many times, for so many seekers, this happens. That they're going on with their life, but purva abhyasena, teneva, hriyate hyavashaha. They are just pulled. And because they're seeking wisdom, they want to attain this yoga. Huh? There's one more story I'll share with you. Now, this one is a lighter story, a Puranic story. This is how our Puranas, this is how they reiterate this point. This is from Puranas and from Itihasa also. This Kevat, all of you know Kevat from Ramayana, right? Kevat, the one who met Bhagavan Rama, and he wanted Bhagavan Rama to sit on his boat, but first he wanted to wash the feet of Bhagavan Rama. So before this Kevat, he was a turtle. He was a turtle. And he was a turtle in this Satyaloka. And there Bhagavan Vishnu was sitting there on Sheshnag, and Lakshmi ji was there by his side, fanning him. Now this turtle, all this turtle wanted to do was touch the feet of Bhagavan Vishnu. But the first time, Lakshmi Devi shooed him away. No, you can't come. Then the turtle went back and went around to see if he could go through Sheshnag, because Lakshmi Devi is not letting him go. But when he went to Sheshnag hissed at him. So as though he was going to spit out venom. So this turtle also left. Now what to do? This turtle felt like, I want to touch the feet of Bhagavan. I want to touch the feet of Bhagavan. So the next birth, this turtle became Kevat. Kevat, that boatman. And Lakshmi Devi became Sita. Sheshnag became Lakshmana. And Vishnu became Rama. And in that place, then what happened? Sri Rama wanted to cross that ocean. So Kevat said, I need to wash your feet. I need to wash your feet before you come in my boat, because I heard that whenever your feet touch anything, it brings it to life. Like what happened with Ahalya. When Bhagavan Rama's feet touched Ahalya, she came to life. And so Kevat was able to wash Bhagavan Rama's feet, touch Bhagavan Rama's feet, and take him across the ocean. Now, what is the inner symbolism or significance of this? The first time, when he was a turtle, he was still deluded by wealth. So Lakshmi Devi didn't bless him. She said, you go away because you're still deluded by wealth. Then he came around to Sheshnag. And Sheshnag symbolizes all the siddhis, all the psychic powers. So the turtle was deluded by pride. So Sheshnag tried to veer him away. But in his next birth, he became pure. And when he became pure, neither did Sita Mata or Lakshmanji stop him from washing the feet of Rama. And he finally attained the feet of Rama. So this is that Purva Abhyasa. And when this person, this sadhaka, sincere seeker is born, Shabda Brahma Ativartate. They go beyond Shabda Brahman. Shabda Brahman here means the ritualistic portion of the Vedas, the Karma Kanda and the Upasana Kanda, where a lot of rituals and contemplations are prescribed, though they may do some in that very birth which they're born, they will eventually go beyond that, Shabda Brahman. So beyond the karmas and the upasanas, they will go beyond that and they will gain the highest. Then what happens? So now we'll see in verse 45. Prayatnadyatamaanastu
प्रयत्नाध्यतमानस्तु
yogi samshuddha kilbishaha
योगी संशुद्धकिल्बिषः
aneka janma samsiddhaha
अनेकजन्मसंसिद्धः
tato yati param gatim
ततो याति परां गतिम्
prayatnadyatamaanastu yogi samshuddha kilbishaha aneka janma samsiddhaha tato yati param gatim. So prayatnadyatamaanastu, due to striving for it, striving with it, with that assiduity, with that sincere effort, that yogi samshuddha kilbishaha, now purified from all of these sins, aneka janma samsiddhaha, perfected through many births, tataha yati param gatim, that yogi reaches the highest. So, but the yogi who strives with assiduity, purified from sins and perfected gradually through many births, then attains the highest goal. So now that yogi is born in this household, that yogi strives so sincerely without any distractions to their full effort. They strive. And samshuddha kilbishaha means that vasanas, the negative vasanas, are removed. The negative vasanas such as pride, greed, lust, negligence, all of these vasanas are removed, they are uprooted. And even the positive vasanas are removed, because even that is dirt, in the sense that we remove pride and then we say, oh, I have removed pride. I am now humble. So that is also a wrong notion, right? We remove anger and then we say, oh, I'm so great, I never get angry. Again, that is also an egoistic tendency. So, purified from negative vasanas, but even these vasanas of positivity, of doership, of enjoyership, of ownership, purified from all of that together, and because of aneka janma samsiddha, because of the practices, the sadhanas of many births, aneka, not just one, many births, then this yogi reaches the highest. This yogi reaches the highest. So what this tells us is no effort is wasted. And there's no thing, sometimes we're thinking to our minds, what about us? Where are we going to reach? We're not striving enough. There's no need to think about anything like that. Whatever we do, just do it sincerely, right? Gurudev calls this self-unfoldment, meaning the unfoldment of a seeker is gradual. It's a gradual ripening. Nobody said that we have to change overnight, and we won't be able to. We won't be able to, because if we pretend, we can, pretend that we have changed, and then inside us all these negative vasanas are still there. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. If we sincerely just put forth effort every day, day by day, then the goal will take care of itself. So a sadhaka or a great sadhaka strives, lives day by day, puts forth enough effort, and also finds joy in the practice of Vedanta. Remember, this path that we're in, it's not that we have to postpone our joy. Huh? Tato yati param gatim. When I gain moksha, then I'll be happy. No, even now when we're pursuing this spiritual path, be happy with the little wins that there are. Isn't the mind a little bit more calm? Isn't, our responses better to other people? Aren't our negative habits slowly decreasing? It's taking time, yes, but isn't there actual transformation happening? Yes, then just keep walking, and enjoy that path. And when there is some time and space that we can put forth more effort, put forth more effort. But keep walking, because no effort is wasted. That abhyasa will carry on. It will carry on. And we are also very blessed because we've come in contact with such a wonderful Guru Parampara. This birth for all of us is not ordinary. The fact that we are reading Bhagavad Gita, we are studying the message of Bhagavan Krishna, that itself should tell us this birth is not ordinary. That we are able to utter the name of Bhagavan, that is not ordinary. So this birth to us is a blessing. And if we make full use of it, then we can walk even further. Now, Shri Krishna in the next two verses is praising this yogi. Yogi here means the one who has abidance in the knowledge of the self. So 46. Tapasvebhyodhiko yogi.
Tapasvibhyodhiko yogi.
Jnanebhyopi matodhikaha.
Jnanebhyopi matodhikaha.
Karmebhyaschadhiko yogi.
Karmebhyaschadhiko yogi.
Tasmad yogi bhavarjuna.
Tasmad yogi bhavarjuna.
Tapasvebhyodhiko yogi. Jnanebhyopi matodhikaha. Karmebhyaschadhiko yogi. Tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. So Shri Krishna says, tapasvibhyaha, then ascetics, adhikaha, superior is the yogi. Jnanebhyaha, then the wise, api, even than the wise, mataha, the thought is the yogi is superior. Karmibhyaha, then the people of action, adhikaha yogi, the yogi is superior. Tasmat yogi bhava Arjuna. Therefore, O Arjuna, be a yogi. So what does this mean? So there are some people who are tapasvis. Tapasvis means practice a lot of austerity. Lot of austerity. Fasting could be an austerity. Monam, austerity, or austerity of body. They do a lot of yoga asanas. Austerity of japa, lots of austerities they practice. Greater than this is the yogi, the one who has abidance in the knowledge of the self. The tapasvis, they also might have siddhis. They might be able to read people's minds. They might be able to walk on water. They might be able to predict what's going to happen in the future. Greater than all of this is the yogi, who has abidance in the self. Greater than the jnani. Jnani here means those who have shastra jnana, those who are very well versed and well read in shastra. So there are people who know the scriptures back and forth. They can chant any shloka. They memorized everything and they can chant anything you tell them. And they can pull from this Upanishad and that Gita, they can pull from everywhere. But Greater is the one who has abidance in those words, not the one who can merely recite those words. Greater is the one who is a yogi, who lives the words. And greater than the karmi. Karmi is those who are engaged in a lot of action. Engaged in a lot of action. Greater than them is the yogi. Because remember, even in selfless action, it's a very beautiful, beautiful method for us to evolve. But even there's a stain of doership. There's a stain of doership. There's also a stain of wanting something. Even if it's wanting that purity of mind, it's still wanting something. So the karmi, also greater than that karmi, is this one who has abidance in the self. Therefore, Arjuna, strive for the highest. Go for the highest. Don't just merely strive for these stages. And all of these stages are necessary for spiritual growth, but take it up to the highest level. Don't lax. Don't say enough now. I've gotten here. No. Keep going, keep going, keep going until we attain the highest. But then, the question is, I am not a Adi Shankaracharya ji or a Veda Vyasa ji or a Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi ji or Anandamayi Ma. We're not like that. So how do we start? When we look at them, we think like, wow, they are totally from a different planet, from a different world. How can we even think that we can reach there? So he says, don't worry, because it all depends on this, which everybody can do. And this is verse number 47. Yoginamapi sarvesham
योगिनामपि सर्वेषां
madgatenantaratmana
मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना
shraddhavan bhajate yo mam
श्रद्धावान् भजते यो माम्
same yuktatamo mataha
समे युक्ततमो मतः
yoginamapi sarvesham madgatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yuktatamo mataha. So he says, yoginam api sarvesham, even amongst the yogis, same yuktatamo mataha, I consider same, for me, yuktatamo mataha, I consider these the greatest, who yo mam bhajate, those who worship me. How? Shraddhavan, those who worship me, who have a lot of faith in madgatena antaratma, those whose minds, whose hearts are fully in me. So among the yogis, one who is full of faith, with their inner self merged in me, worships me, is the most devout. So what is the qualification that we have to think of? No, don't think that we have to sit quietly for 8 hours in samadhi. No. Don't think we have to study every day so hard and learn all the scriptures. No. What we have to do is, number one, have that full faith. In Chandogya Upanishad, we saw Shraddhatsva Somya. Have faith. Oh, Shvetaketu, have faith. Have faith in ourselves. Have faith in Ishvara, that we can walk this path. And that faith should be full. The thing in our lives is we have partial faith. There are some things that you will tell your spouse, but you will not tell your parents. And then there are some things you will tell your parents, but you will not tell your spouse. Correct? There are some things that you will tell one sibling, but you won't tell the other sibling. So in our vyavahara, there is no one person we have full shraddha on. Everybody partial shraddha. On this matter, this person I have shraddha on, but on this matter, I will tell this person. Bhagavan said, Shraddhavan, put full shraddha on me. You can tell me anything and you can have complete faith in me. I will always come. I will always be there. I am actually there. You just have to tune into me. So have full shraddha, the one who has full faith. Then madgatena antaratmana, the one whose mind is immersed in me. All you'll have to do is just love me. Think of me. Have your heart set unto me. That devotee, that sadhaka is the greatest. And in no time, that sadhaka who has their heart set on me, who has faith in me, they will also reach me. They will also reach me. And with this verse, this concludes the 6th chapter. And this verse paves the way for the next unfoldment of Bhagavad Gita, which is the Bhakti Yoga. So the first 6 chapters was all Karma Yoga. So much focus on action. Remember where we started from? Arurukshu, the one who is working towards staying steadfast or wanting to come to this knowledge, the one who's working towards it. And Yoga Rudha, the one who's getting established in it. So we started from there and we have come all the way here. So chapters 1 to 6 are all about focusing mainly on Karma Yoga. The next realm we will enter, chapter 7 to 12, will be Bhakti Yoga. So lots of heartwarming shlokas will come. So today let us conclude this chapter. We will read the final portion. Om Tat Saditi
Om Tat Saditi
Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su
Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su
Upanishatsu
Upanishatsu
Brahma Vidyayam
Brahma Vidyayam
Yoga Shastre
Yoga Shastre
Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade
Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade
Atma Samyama Yogo Nama
Atma Samyamanamo Yamayogo Nama
Shashtodhyayaha.
Ashtodhyayaha.
We'll read the first verse. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Anashritah karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha sasannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnyar na chakriyaha. So next week we will see the summary of the 6th chapter. We'll do a whole overview of the 6th chapter so that we can make sure that we understand it before entering the 7th chapter. Okay? All right. So main points from today is wherever we are, just keep striving, keep putting forth effort. And if we see ourselves get distracted, again, get back into the path. Remember, this birth itself is a blessing. So make use of it. Very often in our lives, we have things in front of us, but we don't use it. Sometimes we will open a book, right? And we will not look at the table of contents. We will try to find so many things. And then later on, we will realize, oh, there was a table of contents. I could have just looked at that. Oh, there was an index. I could have just looked at that. Many times when we buy something, we try to install it on our own. But there's an instruction booklet. Oh, I could have just looked at that, right? we miss many times that which is right in front of us, in front of our face. So pay attention and let's walk each step, make it very, very firm so that we too can reach where Arjuna has reached. And Sri Krishna, when he was telling Arjuna this, one of the commentators said, Arjuna, look at your life. You did not want jnana. You came to the battlefield to fight. You did not want knowledge. You came here to fight. But just see, because of your purva abhyasa, because of your purva karma, you are now getting the knowledge of the self. Huh? So too, we are also getting that from Sri Krishna. Okay? Say the closing prayer. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.